Let's see what's going on. There we go. What is happening? Happy Monday to you. It's lunchtime. Welcome to Live at Lunch. My name is Coach Marcus. This is Pro Fan Talk, and let's get it. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12:10 to 12:50. Get you out of here with plenty of time to finish your sandwich, wash your hands, clock back in, and get back to it. Right? So after this crazy weekend, Fletcher Cox walking away. We just got finished recovering from Jason Kelsey walking away. So that was a double whammy for Philadelphia fans. And you had the just absolute ridiculousness. I mean, awesome basketball games in the women's tournament yesterday. I've told you guys before, if you tuned in with me yesterday, I'm all about the women's game. The women's college basketball, in my opinion, is much better than the men's right now. So I'm invested. I've been watching it, and all of the games have been good. They've had their controversy, they've had their chaos, they had the fight last night. Dawn Staley wins another SEC chip. Dawn Staley, in my opinion, is getting into that Pat Summitt territory. She's already got national championships. She's got the recruitment game on lock. She's got a steady roster of young female athletes that are coming in there and doing things. If you haven't been watching that girl for Wiley, you need to check her out. She is off the chains. And then today, as you can tell by my background, the horses are out of the stable. The race has begun. NFL legal tampering is in effect. Free agency is go. And we've got 8 million stories going on right now. Shout out to my man Cody K. Shout out to my man Jason Sink. I appreciate you guys. Always first out the limo. But man, we can't get a break. It just keeps going. NFL is the gift that keeps on giving, man. So, and we're gonna keep running with it. We are gonna keep running with it, man. It is absolutely crazy. I got a bunch of stories that's been going on. I've been trying to keep track of it. I had that busy morning today. But Twitter has been pinging all day. Let me see. Bears, where'd you see the Bears get Swift? I know they got Byard, Kevin Byard. I didn't see anything about DeAndre Swift. Let me look that up. Hold on. I didn't hear that. DeAndre Swift news. I haven't seen anything. Okay, so the Bears are targeting DeAndre Swift. He hasn't signed with anybody. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I know the Saquon talk is out there. And in my opinion, we got to be careful. The Eagles need to be careful. You got a homegrown, explosive back who made some things happen. You know, Cody, everybody's pushing hard at this point in time. So, you know, the floodgates are open. So everybody's putting their full court press on. And everybody's trying to sign all of the guys that, you know, they throwing the money out now. Now it's official. 3-year, $24 million for Swift. Are you serious? Let me see. Bears expected to make major push. I'm looking at stuff that's 2 minutes ago. Bears making major push to sign DeAndre Swift. Okay. So again, this is the Eagles wire 2 minutes ago. 12:05 p.m. So like 5 minutes ago. And so nothing has actually happened, but based on what I'm looking at. So I don't know. I guess that's gonna change. 2 minutes ago. Oh my God. So that means we gotta get Saquon. We gotta get somebody. We just let an explosive back like that walk out the door. So here's the question. So you're talking about 3-year, $24 million. What's the signing bonus? Let me see if I still haven't found anything yet. Let me see. Jason, where'd you see that at? That's got to be okay. So let's go. Let's try on Twitter. I still don't see it, man. That's crazy. DeAndre. See, this is how it goes. This is how it goes. DeAndre Swift to Bears. Rumors. DeAndre Swift expected to be primary target after Eagle stint. Yeah, all I see is just major push. I don't see anything. Hold on. I just think I just saw something. DeAndre Swift to Bears on X. Mike Garafalo, Ian Rappaport. Yeah. Mike Garafalo. The Bears have agreed to terms with DeAndre Swift. 3-year, $24 million deal, sources tell. After career with the Eagles, Swift heads to Chicago to be a big piece. Oh, I would hate that, man. I hate it. So now here's the question now. Here's the question. This is, to me, this is similar to what happened last year with CJ Gardner-Johnson. So this with CJGJ, I think he overshot his market. But with DeAndre actually getting the deal, so you're talking about that's basically $8 million a year. So we didn't want to pony up $8 million a year for DeAndre Swift. That's a little suspect, unless because that's a good market. That's a good payday for him. So what is Saquon gonna want? And the reason why I'm saying this is because now where does that put us as far as a good running back? DeAndre Swift was a game breaker. Saquon Barkley is a game breaker. So now, in my opinion, Saquon has got to be our number one target, the number one target. And if we can get him at the same price, get him. But then the question begs, well, why didn't you just sign DeAndre Swift? Unless, and we got to keep this in mind, unless Kellen Moore is looking for a specific type of running back. We got to keep that in mind. This is Kellen Moore's offense. So this is not about how we coming in and this is just what we want. Kellen Moore may have specific things that he's looking for. And if it's doable, how he might be trying to make that happen. Same thing with Vic Fangio. So interesting news, very interesting news. And $10 million for Saquon. Yeah. That sounds about right. So, and here's the thing. So now with Swift signing, he's pretty much set the market for the running backs now. At least the running backs on his level. Let me say it like that. Saquon is on his level. But Saquon, maybe he'll come in a little bit cheaper because this is the first year he's really come through with no injuries. We could say the same thing about DeAndre Swift from last year when we got him from Detroit. So it puts Howie in an interesting position because the market is set $7 to $8 million, $7 to 10 for a running back of that caliber, in my estimation, is worth it. Now, here's another thing to think about. Why wouldn't we have paid him that money? Again, I'm going back to what Kellen Moore wants to do. Is a running back not as important? Not if you look at his past history down in Dallas. That doesn't make sense to me. So, wow, this is going to shake up some things a little bit as far as we're considered, as far as we're concerned. This is definitely going to shake up some things a little bit. But this is it's gonna make things interesting, man. It's gonna make things very, very interesting. So we've got I said it last week, I said it Friday. This is Howie season. So Howie's got to figure out what the next step is. And I'm sure he's on the phone I've never seen in a situation where Howie was not about that business. So I trust Howie. Y'all know how I feel about that. His track record is pretty daggone good. Um, and as far as I'm concerned, he's earned my trust. He's been getting it done these last couple years, and it's been working. You know what I'm saying? So, um, hey, props to DeAndre Swift for getting his bag. I really wish we could have kept him at home. I really like keeping people born and raised in the area. Hassan Reddick, Kevin Byard, DeAndre Swift. I understand about Kevin Byard. I still think we could have kept him, and I think he would have been better in Vic Fangio's system. But I understand that, so no big deal. But and I'm saying that now, especially now that Fletcher Cox has stepped away, and let me turn off this light real quick. Now that Fletcher Cox has stepped away, Kevin Byard could be, another veteran leader in that locker room, because I don't think we have a problem with talent. I think our problem this year, not a problem, but the question mark, who's gonna fill that gap in leadership on that defensive line? It's really Jalen Carter's too young. Um, Josh Sweat, if he stays, maybe. We got to have somebody on it. It would be Hassan Reddick. But again, if we keep him, so who stays, who goes? Yeah, man. Howie's in his element. Howie's in his element. And people, for whatever reason, people continue to pick up the phone for Howie Roseman. So it's going to be a lot of moving and shaking going on for the next couple of days. I believe it ends Wednesday at 4 p.m. And then it goes into another aspect of it. This, like, the timing and the way all of this stuff works gets confusing. But they know what they need to do. Yep, Jordan Davis definitely needs to step up, Jason. I'm with you 100%. But I don't. Jordan was pretty good last year. In my opinion, he just has to stay consistent with his cardio, because he fell off at the end of the year. But again, anytime you bring that up about somebody's performance at the end of last season is dependent upon, was it him or was it the whole turmoil that was going on behind the scenes with the coaches? Because that plays a lot into it, especially if it's one thing when the coaches and the players aren't on the same page, but when the coaches and other coaches aren't on the same page, that's a recipe for disaster. And we got a big old spoonful full of it last year. So the same thing I said with Kevin Byard, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter should have been a lock for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Those last 5-6 games, he just fell off. And is it because he wasn't doing the same things? Is it did they move him around, or was he trying to do something different, or did he just get enough snaps? So everybody, the play just kind of plummeted those last 6 games when they were making all of these changes. And I don't think they necessarily needed to make them. Our problem was tackling. Our problem wasn't the scheme, in my opinion. We just couldn't tackle. So, and that was more of a secondary and linebacker issue, more so than a defensive line. But we'll see how it goes. But we got some shoes. I did not want DeAndre Swift to go, man. I didn't want him to go. Dang it. So that's the nature of the beast, man. Business is business and friends are friends. Do not confuse the two. So, yeah, man, it's that's a rough one. So, Howie, you on the clock, brother. You are on the clock. So now we really got to look at, other than Saquon, and that's the good thing, the silver lining about Saquon right now. Saquon seems to be the focus for a lot of teams. So there are definitely other players that people are kind of forgetting about. They're not forgetting about them, but just not as much prominence. So maybe Howie's got an idea. We're not going to go into the year with just Boston Scott. you know. So we got to figure out what's going to happen. Um, you know, the Saquon stuff is still out there. I've been hearing a lot about Saquon going to the Texans. So that's a possibility. So you just never know. Once this day gets over with and the dust settles, then we're gonna figure out what's what. Kareem Hunt, 88. I didn't even think about that until you just brought it up. Knowing he's out there, but again, to my point, everybody's been focusing on either keeping DeAndre or are we going to take Saquon? Kareem Hunt is a good option. Great point. Kareem Hunt is a great option. Somebody that gets lost in the shuffle of the limelight. And to be honest with you, I kind of want Saquon Barkley just to get a middle finger to Tiki Barber. Just to get it, man. Am I happy with Dickerson's extension? Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's my logic on our offensive line. Anybody that's been in this system for 2 to 3 years under Jeff Stoutland stays. If you've been under Stoutland that long and we managed to keep you around, that means you got his stamp of approval. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. How many offensive linemen can we name that was coached under Stoutland that didn't come out, that didn't turn out to be great players, or at least good players, good offensive linemen? You can't name many. So as far as I'm concerned, you guys have heard me say this before. I brought it up when the news came out about Cliff Kingsbury, because I wanted Cliff Kingsbury. But when you find out that possibly Cliff Kingsbury would have wanted to bring in a whole staff, rightfully so. You want to bring in your own people. So that's that's a reasonable request. But if that request means getting rid of Jeff Stoutland, absolutely, positively not. Jeff Stoutland is Teflon, nothing sticks. You keep that man at all costs. All costs. In my fantasy eagle green glasses, in my fantasy world, my perfect scenario would be Jason Kelce coming back next year, not in 24, but in 25, coming back in 25, being an assistant coach. And because I would want 24, I would want him to take the year off. I would want him to be away from the game. And then in the 25 season, I would want him to be an assistant coach under Jeff Stoutland. And Jeff Stoutland literally hands him the baton in my fantasy brain. I would love to see that. So, and I still got my bet going. So send in your answers. What's the over under on how many times Jason Kelce is going to be on the sideline next year? It's bound to happen. He's not going to be able to stay in the stands. And he's going to see some things. He's going to want to say some things. He's going to be involved with the offensive line one way or another. And I welcome that. I think and I'm sure that it still exists because they'll call each other, talk to each other. And Jason Kelce seems like the type of person that he is going to be a constant critic or coach or mentor to Cam Jurgens. All he is a phone call away. And since he handpicked him, them phone calls are not going to stop because he's retired. He can still get the same type of advice. He can still get a game plan. It ain't nothing for the Eagles to, put him on the list to get access to the server and watch game footage. And he can still call like, hey, you did this. I saw this. Jason Kelce's going to be a part of this thing for a while. So that's why I'm, not worried about Cam Jurgens at all. What's going on, Jason? Swift gets 15.3 guaranteed. Good Lord. 16.5 for the first 2 years, 24.5 overall. Okay, so the third year, things might get iffy, but he's got 15 guaranteed. Great deal. That's better than what Sanders got last year. Now, going to the Bears are going to be interesting because now they got a running back. They got a couple more pieces. Caleb Williams is going to be there. Chicago might be a team to watch. All Caleb Williams has to do is be better than the kid in North Carolina with the Panthers, Bryce Young, which is not hard to beat. But Bryce Young, he's just going through his growing pains because his offensive line in Carolina was god awful. So I would imagine that if Chicago's going to take this pick, now they got a running back. It was somebody else. Oh, Bayard signed with Chicago, but it was somebody else on defense that signed with Chicago too, I believe. But all they got to do is get pieces to the pie. So they got to get one or two offensive linemen. They'll probably want to sign a vet, get a vet in there. They don't want to build offensive linemen for the draft because you need somebody to play now. You need somebody with experience now. So Chicago are making moves. Good moves. So congrats to Swift, man. 15.3 guaranteed. 16.5 for the first 2 years, 24.5 overall. So if he getting 15.3 guaranteed, how's he getting 16.5 for the first 2 years? Is that his salary? Like, I'm trying to figure out how this is adding up. He's got the 15 guaranteed. So that leaves about $9 million. That leaves a little over $9 million. So I have to bust out the calculator for this one. So he's making 16.5 for the first 2 seasons. Okay, I got you. I think I got you. Man, that's a good deal for DeAndre Swift, man. I ain't mad at him. Not mad at him. I'd be curious if Howie drummed up a deal for an offer. But I'm not mad at DeAndre Swift at all. Get your bag, brother. Get your bag. And at least you're in a situation that's looking up. Miles kind of went for the money. And again, I ain't mad at Miles for doing that either. But you knew first couple years you wasn't winning in Carolina. Chicago might be a different story, but they're going to go through their lumps too. So when you get to that point, he's been to the Super DeAndre Swift, at least he, got a trip to the Super Bowl. And then it goes down to, do you want the bag or do you want to win? If you have those options. Sometimes you don't have those options. $24 million for 3 years is a steal for the Bears. Yeah, they always have been a run team. Gale Sayers was my dude too. Gale Sayers is the reason I wore number 40 in college. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, man. It all depends on what they put around them. That's what it comes down to. Oh, that's Brett. What's my boy Brett on the mic? What's going on, Brett? I appreciate you, brother. They have, but they got to get out of that. They're not going to be a run team. They need run support. They can't be a run team with Caleb Williams. They need the run support, but they got to get him some targets to throw to. And they got to protect him because whether you liked Justin Fields or not, he was getting his head blown off. The offensive line in Chicago and the offensive line for Carolina was god awful. Bryce Young was getting torn to bits. And the only reason Justin Fields didn't get torn to bits is because he can move. Bryce Young is not that mobile, or at least not that fast. Justin Fields is wide receiver speed fast. And he's much bigger, obviously. So it's good to see you, Brett, man. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate all my Apple people, my friends when we worked at the fruit stand. I appreciate all you guys for checking in with me. But yeah, man, I think Chicago's interesting, but they got to put some pieces together. So once again, man, it's what Howie, what you doing, man? What you doing? And I saw this morning. Hold on. Look at this. Russell Wilson. I thought this was interesting. Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh, going to the Steelers. So I thought that was interesting. I think that's pretty cool because Russell Wilson signed for a league minimum. So basically, the Broncos are still on the hook for like 38 million or something. He signed for like 1.7. That's the league minimum for a vet. So the Broncos are still on the hook for like 38 million. And that leaves Pittsburgh with plenty of space, plenty of maneuvering room to get some pieces. And I think Russell will do very well with Mike Tomlin. So, but here's one thing I will say, because the way the environment is in Pittsburgh, the way Mike Tomlin is as a coach, real no nonsense, real matter of fact. I can see Mike Tomlin sitting Russ down and like having a heart to heart. Like, listen, let's kill all the rah-rah stuff, especially him being real spiritual Christian quarterback. And he puts that out there. And Mike is too, but Mike knows how to operate that. Whereas Sean Payton was just, in my opinion, Sean Payton was just trying to bully him. Mike Tomlin is going to come from a different perspective. So I think Russell made the good move. He kind of gave the behind the back shiv to the Broncos. He's still going to get paid his money. Regardless of if he plays horrible next year and they cut him, he's still getting paid his $40 million. That's checkmate to me. So good on you, Russ. Getting what you can get. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. George Pickens. Absolutely. So now you got Chicago, and now you got Pittsburgh looking up. It's going to be interesting in the AFC. At the end of the day, everything's still got to run through Kansas City, but I'm just saying. And don't forget about the Browns, and everybody's still making moves, and a lot of teams got good last year and looking better going into the 24 season. Yeah, Brett, I can't argue with that, bro. I can't argue with that. As soon as we get a running back that looks like they got some purpose and some promise, we shuffle them off. And we can say that going all the way back to the Shady days when Chip Kelly did what he did. And Shady was a premier back and was the best back in the league, arguably. DeAndre Swift is really good, but would you argue that he was the best back in the league? Even when Sanders did what he did. But when Shady was playing, he was the best. And they still got rid of him. So I don't understand that. I like when our players can hang around for a little bit. However, when you get a brand new coaching package, they want their own groceries, man. So I ain't mad at it, but that puts the pressure on Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman, because you got to replace that production. Whether you like Miles Sanders, whether you like DeAndre Swift, you got to replace his production. I wish they could have kept DeAndre Swift, because I wanted to see what Kellen Moore would do with somebody like that in a screen game. I still miss the days of the screen from what the stuff that Andy Reid was doing. And DeAndre Swift was that type of dude. But we just wasn't creative enough to take advantage of it. So we still got some time. A lot of moving and shaking going on, and it's going to continue. You know it's going to continue. So it should be pretty cool. Let me throw my shader on real quick. Let me see. So we'll see what's going to happen. Where is my shader? Uh-oh. Huh. Did I not have the shader? I guess I didn't. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. There we go. There's my shader. Let me do that. There we go. That's better. All right. What's next? Let's go back to the default. And what else is on the docket? What else? Saquon, Byard. The Landon Dickerson thing. I had that brought up. Landon Dickerson. That's a good get. I'm not mad at that at all. Somebody that's been with Stout for that long, and he's pretty daggone good. He took his lumps. He definitely took his lumps when we moved him around, but he was still serviceable, and now he's that much better. So I'm good with Landon, and I don't see any problem with that. And we just got to keep it moving. That's it in a nutshell, man. We got to keep this thing going. Let me see. Is there any other NFL news while we've been talking? Got Russell Wilson, Mike Tomlin. What did I just say? What did I just say? And this is what Sports Illustrated. That's their headline. Mike Tomlin's job is fixing the destructive aura of Russell Wilson. So I thought that was interesting. And on that note, looking at the situation that happened early in our offseason, when everybody was talking about Jalen Hurts, unapproachable, and everything like that. That's exactly what that reminds me of. Because you got to let people, especially at the quarterback position, you got to let some people, they got to do it their own way. Nobody was saying all of this stuff about Russell Wilson when he was winning them games in Seattle, whether you liked him or not. And I think that's what people get mixed up on. You don't have to like me. You do have to respect what I do on the field. That's it. That's as far as it goes. You don't have to like these guys, but there is a level of respect. I say this all the time. It's just like a family. You don't like everybody in your family, but when you meet up for Thanksgiving or holidays or birthdays or whatever the situation is, you grown enough to be civil. If you don't want to talk to them, don't talk to them. Keep it moving. But you civil. You ain't trying to start trouble. That's the same thing in the locker room. You keep it civil. If you don't like each other, if y'all don't hang out, everybody's not going to vibe with each other. That's always the case. Rarely are you going to have a whole team where everybody likes everybody. Not going to happen. However, you do have a level of respect and mutual understanding on your team that everybody's head is in the same direction. Everybody's focused on the same thing. So while you don't go bowling every Tuesday night, when y'all step on the field, everything is the way it should be. And I think that gets lost in translation because people don't like Russell Wilson. There's always a stigma against people that, folks consider goody-goody. You know what I mean? I heard it when Shannon Crowder was talking about him on the pivot. The first thing he said, he went on that rant about Russell Wilson being a square. He could be with somebody like Sierra and all of this stuff, which had nothing to do with him playing. And then they want to try to walk it back a little bit. And I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. I'm not saying, but. And the but has nothing to do with who cares if you don't like his personality. Don't hang out with him. But that type of stuff always comes up. I think it was the situation in Philly with Jalen Hurts. I made a post not too long ago where I said Fletcher Cox and Slay, those are the guys at the bar that'll buy you the drinks. Jalen Hurts is the guy that make sure you get home safe. And that's just his personality. So don't ask him to step out of his lane because you don't want that. You don't want that. I wouldn't ask you to step out of your lane, so don't ask him to do that either. So let me see. Yeah, we got Gainwell. Gainwell and Boston Scott. That's it. Did we? And we just signed. We just signed somebody too. What was the? We just signed a run. We signed another big back from San Francisco. I think. I'm trying to remember who it was. What's his name? Sign running back. More Saquon Barkley news. Yeah. I can't see it. We just signed somebody. I can't see it. Yeah, I'll figure it out after the after the stream goes down. But yeah, I know we just signed a running back not too long ago. Let me see if it's still on my Twitter feed. I just can't remember his name, and he's kind of a big back too. What's my boy Chucks was on here? He would know. He would know exactly what I was talking about. Program, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Yeah, I can't find it. I'm gonna figure it out later. But I know we just signed. But I think he's a young running back, so he's not gonna be somebody that's gonna come in and take the job. So it kind of is what it is. Is it trying day? Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. That would have bugged the hell out of me. So thank you, Brett. And he was a big guy. He's a big one, right? Tyrion David Price, 23 years old, young kid, drafted by the 49ers, played in 7 games in 2 seasons. So, he was doing mop-up duty. 6'1", 219. There you have it. 6'1", 219. So he's a big back. He can block. What's up, Dave? Sunless season. Okay, you got to remember that. He's a big back. That was one of the criticisms of DeAndre Swift last season, was that the blocking ability was okay. And even Kenny Gainwell, who's not scared to block, again, a lot of times running backs, we lose the battle of physics because of, it's not so bad this year and these days because so many linebackers are light. So many linebackers are super fast. They're not big anymore. You don't see like a 260 Levon Kirkland or as big as Seth was. Seth was like 240, 250 and can move. But you don't see backs that big anymore. TJ Edwards, how big was TJ Edwards? Like 230, 235? So, but you still got to bring the noise when you pass blocking. Because if you get hit with a twist and instead of a linebacker, you got a defensive end coming through there, you can cancel Christmas because that's not going to work out for you. But when you can bring some size, like everybody's not going to be King Henry, but you got to be able to hold your own sometimes when you pass block, and that helps out everything. That helps out play action. That helps out screen game, quick passes, everything. And it helps you out as a runner because it helps sets up your block. So I like him. He played at LSU. So, I mean, we'll see. He's been in the league for 2 years and hasn't really done much. But how you gonna get some play time behind Christian McCaffrey and Debo? So I get that. So it's the same thing with Trey Sermons. Oh, Titans got Pollard? Ooh. If the Titans got Pollard, you already know Dallas is coming after Saquon Barkley hard. You already know. Jerry ain't going to let that happen. Wow, it's happening, man. The dominoes are falling, bro. The dominoes are falling. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. Damn. Lots of stuff going on, man. This is going to be the ending of the day. The next 2 days is going to be just straight up ridiculous. Absolutely crazy. Everybody getting paid, though. That's another running back, $8 million. So now the bar has been set at around $8 million. So, yeah. Let's see if there's any. Let's close some of these. Are there any Pollard to Titans? Titans are expected to sign former Cowboys Tony Pollard. Sources say. Good old sources. Got to find out who sources is. So obviously there's not going to be much info on the contract until a little bit later, but that's interesting. Who was the Dallas running back then? Good question. That is a great question. Yeah, they capped out. Got to pay Dak. Dallas is in some trouble, man. And I'm not talking about trouble like with players and stuff like that. That whole mystique and what they're about and going about business is in trouble because they have become so big as a brand and everybody down there is on social media and all of that kind of stuff. They're creating their own distractions because they drink their own Kool-Aid too much. That's my opinion. They create problems for themselves. And that's the ongoing issue with social media now. You know, again, props to Jason Kelce and New Heights and Travis and everything that's going on with him and Taylor Swift. He has navigated that situation masterfully. He's dealing with the most popular pop star in the world, and he don't get near as much stuff as Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb was getting. They got families involved and all that kind of stuff. Heck, even the stuff came out when Patrick Mahomes' brother and his dad gets in trouble. But Kelce mixing to the Cowboys, that sounds about right. I can see that happening. I forgot about Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's up there. How old is Joe Mixon, though? I didn't want to see him leave for Cincinnati, selfishly, because I'm from Cincinnati, and I want to see my Bengals get back. But Joe Mixon is a underrated hard runner. He's 27, so he's still in his prime. We can do that. I wouldn't mind seeing Howie throw a bone his way, see what we can work out. I wouldn't mind Mixon being over here. He's a veteran. He can play. I don't mind that, man. Stranger things have happened. Man. So, we got so much to go on, so much to talk about. But I'm running out of time, man. Oh my God, this has been awesome. Running out of time. So, but that's why we got to roll like that when we on lunch, on the lunch break. So it's all good, man. Let me I do this thing every day because I'm trying to track my progress. So I always take a picture of how many people I got on the stream watching. So as of today, this has been, for me, this has been a record. Are you asking me, am I a Cowboys fan? Absolutely, positively not. I am a former Philadelphia Eagles running back, bro. Me and the Cowboys do not get along. Now, I used to be a Cowboys fan back in the day. Tony Dorsett, back then, that's why I was a running back. But no, I'm not a Cowboys fan. So, But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm trying to keep track. So I always take pictures of how many um people I got watching the stream. It's just a personal thing that I do. So yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I start at 12:10. This is live at lunch. All right. Be there. Tell your friends about me. I'm going to end it now. So that means you got plenty of time to wash your hands and clock back in and get back to it. All right. Gold, hit me up on Twitter. I can answer some more questions there. Coach Marcus 06 _ Coach Marcus 06. Or is it, what is my Twitter? I used to have it on the thing, but oh yeah, I stopped it. Hold on for a second. It is Coach _ Marcus 06. Got it. Coach at Coach _ Marcus 06. So Goldmouth, I appreciate you. I appreciate all my new subs. Stay tuned. Hit me up on Pro Fan Talk, and I will see you guys on Wednesday, where the news is gonna keep on coming. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out. Go Birds.